Hello, my name is Agnieszka Zając, and I'm a host of a Q&A meeting with Nicolas Fattouch and Paul Moss. Guys, hello, bonjour.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
We're fine.
Good.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you are here with me. And let's start our Q&A meeting with first questions to Nicolas. Okay, Nicolas, you are a director of film How My Grandmother Became a Chair. Your main subject of your animation are social stigmas. Could you please tell us what inspired you to make your animation?
Yes. So this film is about my grandmother. It's the story of my grandmother. My grandmother has always lived very close to my house. And maybe for this reason, I never felt the urge to visit her. I thought that she was always going to be there and that I have plenty of time to visit her later. But one day, all of a sudden, she passed away, and this broke my heart. But thinking about her death, I saw how much I was lucky to be able to keep few things that were very dear to her, like her perfume, her candies, and some of the pictures that were found under her pillow. But this film is not about only my relationship with my grandmother, but also it's about the relationship of the housekeeper that lived with grandmother for years, and yet she was never considered as part of the family because her different skin color. Her relationship with grandmother that was evolving with time, and how grandmother and Rose were becoming closer to each other, and how grandmother discovered in the end of the film that the only family member that the kindest person was her housekeeper. So this is when the short.
Yeah. And how the process of creation looked like? How did you work on this animation? On the stage of pre-production and production?
Yes, so the film started at ITFS Stuttgart. I participated in the Arab Animation Forum. And it's there where I met my producer, Fabian. And I won, when I won the Arab Animation Forum, I got eligible, I got a seat in the Robert Bosch Stiftung competition, the film prize. And after then, when I won the film prize in February 2018, it became a co-production between Lebanon and Germany. So the production of the film was between two countries. And then we got funds from Qatar also. So this is how it became with three countries.
Do you think your art can contribute to positive change when it comes to social stigmas?
Yes, I think nowadays the topic of this film is very important, especially with the current situation of the African domestic workers in Lebanon. Because with the pandemic and the COVID situation and the economic crisis, we are seeing a lot of families and a lot of people that are unable to pay the fees for the African housekeepers, and they are putting them in front of the embassies with their clothes and without food, and they are suffering very much. And we have to remember that they are very far from their families. So I think this is why the topic of this film is very important to put the light on this issue, and to try to make everyone remember that in the end we should look beyond the surface and remember that behind every person there is a heart and there is a human being, and we should respect each one.
And what about elderly persons?
Yes, of course, and also it's the elders. Through this film, I would like to show that our loved ones do not really leave us in the end, but instead they could become pieces of furniture. So I think during this pandemic, we should take this time and spend it more wisely with our families and our loved ones, because we don't know when they could transform into pieces of furniture. So we should take this time and make more memories with them.
Could you tell me something more about Lebanese animation? Because, well, I know there's some really good artists, but could you just say more about this subject?
Yes, I think in Lebanon we have a lots of talents in animations, and we are all, most of us like to talk about political subjects and what's happening currently in Lebanon. From my side, I always like to talk about these things, but and by telling the story of my family, because I believe if we want to create a change and live in a better world, we should first know how to live in our families.
What about your next project? Are you working currently on a new project art or maybe some exhibition?
I'm developing 2 stories for the moment. One is in development. It's called For the Love of People, and the other one is called The Little Blue House on the Beach. Both stories tackle the same subject, which is and ask the same question of what is a real family. And I try to respond to this question by getting inspired from different generations of my family.
Okay, thank you, Nicolas.
Thank you.
Paul, hello, Paul, can you hear me? Paul?
Oui, je suis là. Ouais.
Oui. Yeah. Paul, such a beautiful and touching story. I can say that you have a great gift of storytelling. And
Thanks.
how do you come up with idea for this film, Precious?
Thank you very much. First, thanks. The idea behind this short movie is actually it came from the moment when I left school, animation school, and began to find the work. And when I entered the real world of jobs and liberalism, and I found out that a lot of my friends who were all very idealistic during their school times entered the job market and became just as interested by money and finding a job than anyone. And I saw a lot of people who were supposed to be like communist or stuff, and who were just basically acting like against each others on a regular basis. And I also in this city of Paris, which can be very violent with the poor, and I understood that this idea that one must take power on another one is and must think about himself before the others is not a sin but a rules in this country and in a lot of countries, I guess. And this was a thing that bugged me a lot, and I wanted to know where those shitty values would come from. And I understood that this was a thing that happened during childhood, that we all have this moment when we are childs and we understand that we have to sort of fight for our own survival. And I wanted to tell this moment where a little kid understands that he have to fight for his survival. And and tell this in a way that people could relate to. That's it.
Tell us more about process of pre-production.
Pre-production, the writing process. And the writing process is my writing process, like the way I write a thing, is that first of all, I just try to basically focus on my feelings. If I feel like shit for a reason, I try to understand why I feel like shit. And I try to write things about this. I just try to, I do it every day. I try to write ideas of stories. And if one idea stays in my mind for more than a few months, it means that that's what I want to write. I begin to write the stories. I begin to like use those little post-its that I have like everywhere, and I just write ideas and stuff, and I try to work on them. I do this one day. The next day, I read everything I wrote the day before, and I try to think, okay, this was interesting, this we don't care. And when I have a first draft of a script, I make it read to my dear friend Xavier Truchon, who is also a guy who made puppets on the movie. And I always make him read my first draft because he's very, like, he doesn't try to be nice. Like, all of the first draft, it basically tells me it's very shitty. And I do accept this. I'm like, okay, I have to keep on working. And that's it. So this is a process that comes from my feelings, and then I work on them and then share it with people, and rewrite until I have something that's everyone can relate to. And then pre-production, it's a lot of drawing. On this movie, it was a lot about taking pictures, because I'm not good at drawing sets and places. I'm not good at perspective. So most of the time I just go on place, take pictures on places I like. For example, for Precieux, I went to the school I was, which is, I think, one of the ugliest school of France. Very, very ugly school. And I mean, all schools are ugly, I guess. And I took pictures, and then we recreated that.
Did you meet with any autistic kids or adults when it comes to your film Precious?
Sorry, did I don't understand the question.
Did you meet with any autistic kids when you made the preparation to your animation?
Yes, actually, I worked a lot with a guy called Mehdi Ntola, who's a dude who's doing art therapy in centers with for not kids, because like the reality of mental disabilities is that a 40 years old person can act like an 8 years old kid. So like the age kind of, it's not unimportant, but it's a different thing. So I taught a lot with him, and also the guy who's doing Emil's voice is a disabled dude who, we don't know if he's got autism, but he's a different person. And I talked a lot about this with him, and also with this guy, to understand how are those people. And mostly because the movie is not about autism. because what really interested me was the point of view of Julie, the little girl. Yeah. But I did some research on that topic because I wanted to be realistic and accurate and not saying anything that's wrong about this pathology. So to me, Emile was just a different kid, and I didn't really care what was his pathology, but for more realism and also to help me with the writing, I made a lot of research on autism and how do they react, how do they see the world, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Paul, could you tell us something about your plans for the future project, maybe?
The future, I think my plans for the future are the same that anyone at the moment, meaning and future projects. I'm writing a new short movie, which is called Club Michel. Mm-hmm. We're still not into production because I want to take my time. Like my writing process take ages because I rewrite a lot and it's a lot of work. So I really want to be sure about what I'm doing before asking money and going into this process where you have to talk with a lot of people and defend your project. It can be super hard if you're not completely sure about what you're doing. It's called Club Michel, and this time it's science fiction, and it's about a weird society where there is little midgets like Oompa Loompas that are called Michel, which is a French name, that are doing all of the shitty tasks no one wants to do, and society turned into this hipster hell where everyone is completely lazy and only taking care of themselves and doing yoga all the time. That's the pitch.
Okay, thank you. Guys, could you tell some words, some sentences to our Polish audience? Maybe.
You go first.
Nicolas.
Yeah, I would like to thank the festival, and I hope that the Polish audience would like the film. And hopefully one day I will be able to visit Krakow and see the festival.
Thank you. Paul?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for organizing this festival. It means a lot to us because we keep on reaching an audience and we keep on being able to talk about the movies, and thank you so much and good luck for those weird times that are waiting for us.
Once again, thank you very much for being with us and see you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Na da dee.